The police siren blasted through a quiet street in London, shattering the calm like glass under a hammer. Seconds later, officers stormed toward a small white townhouse at the end of the lane. Neighbours stepped out in confusion, robes clutched, slippers dragging, whispers rising. Inside the house, Rebecca stood frozen at the foot of the stairs, her whole body trembling as heavy fists pounded on the door. 30 minutes earlier, she had just woken up from a nightmare, shivering as she prayed silently, only to watch her nightmare become reality. "Police, open up!" She stared at the door, unable to breathe. Daniel stood a few steps behind her, arms crossed, face blank, as if her existence is none of his business. "Daniel," she whispered, "what's happening?" He didn't budge. He didn't even blink. The door burst open. Officers flooded the living room. One of them pointed directly at her. "Rebecca Adams?" Her lips parted, barely moving. "Yes. You're under arrest for possession of stolen property and suspected involvement in fraudulent pawning of a luxury item. Put your hands where I can see them." Rebecca stumbled back as though struck. No, this is a mistake. I didn't steal anything. I didn't. My husband, please tell them." "If she commits the crime, take her away." Daniel snapped coldly with no remorse. It's not just the statement that shatters her world. It's the way he acted like she's not the same woman he's attracted to years before. "Daniel," she cried, voice breaking, "say something. Tell them I didn't." Her mother-in-law, Susan, stepped forward from the hallway, placing a perfectly manicured hand over her own chest. Her eyes glistened with crocodile tears. "Oh, Rebecca, how could you? In this house, after everything we've done for you." Rebecca weeps in silence as she looks around and realizes no one is on her side. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she gave out her hands to the officers. One officer cuffed her wrists. Cold metal bit into her skin. Another grabbed her elbow and led her out the door. Neighbours gasped as she appeared on the front steps in handcuffs. Someone whispered, "Shame," and she looked like such a nice girl. Rebecca's legs gave way for a moment, but the officer yanked her upright and marched her toward the car. Right then, with the whole street watching her fall apart, a silent voice slowly rose inside her. "Who would believe I didn't commit the crime they accused me of?" Her world went dark as the car door slammed in her face. If this moment hits you like it hit her, if you can already feel the injustice burning, tap the like button and drop a comment below so this story could reach someone else who needs a reminder that the darkest hour comes just before dawn. And subscribe now, because what's coming next will take you to the moon and bring you back to Earth. For 3 years, life has been a roller coaster of troubles for her, but she never expects things to get this worse. Rebecca had moved into Daniel's family home 4 months after their wedding, with the oath to be with Daniel for the rest of her life. She'd expected love, warmth, maybe a little chaos. Instead, the house felt like it held its breath every time she walked in. And Susan, her mother-in-law, never missed a chance to remind her she didn't belong there. The first night she arrived, Susan examined her like a fragile ornament that didn't match the decor. "So, you're the designer," Susan said, her tone smooth and cold. "We've heard you're very creative." Rebecca smiled weakly. "Thank you. I'm trying my best." "Yes," Susan replied. "Try very hard. Daniel deserves the best." The message was clear. "I think you're not good enough for my son, and no matter what you do, you'll never be good enough." Still, Rebecca tried. She cooked meals Daniel liked, cleaned what Susan hated to see dirty, smiled when she wanted to cry, apologized even when she didn't understand the offense. She believed peace required patience. But Susan didn't want peace. She wanted dominance. "You ironed his shirts wrong," Susan would say. "You laughed too loudly. You're too soft. You came from a simple background. I hope you can keep up." Rebecca swallowed every insult with a quiet dignity that only made Susan push harder. Then came Amelia. Amelia arrived like sunlight, warm, charming, harmless. She met Rebecca at a small cafe near Oxford Street, pretending it was coincidence. "You're Daniel's wife, right?" Amelia asked with a bright smile. "I've heard about you. London's hidden gem." Rebecca blushed. I don't think I'm a gem." "You are," Amelia said firmly. "Trust me. You just need the world to see what I see." It felt good. Too good. Rebecca had been starving for kindness, and Amelia fed her generously. Compliments, long talks, shared secrets. A sisterhood Rebecca didn't know she needed, but Amelia asked too many questions. "So Daniel trusts his mum completely? Does she control the money? Do you have access to the study? What does Daniel keep in that drawer?" Rebecca thought it was harmless curiosity. She never imagined Betrayal could wear such friendly perfume. One evening, Amelia admired one of Rebecca's coats, a brown custom design embroidered with gold thread. "This is gorgeous," Amelia said, running her fingers across it. "I have an event tomorrow. Can I borrow it, please?" Rebecca hesitated. It was one of her favourite pieces. But Amelia looked so hopeful, so sincere. "Sure," Rebecca said softly. Amelia hugged her tightly. "You're a real one." Rebecca didn't notice the sharp smile that flashed across Amelia's face when she thought Rebecca wasn't looking. Meanwhile, Daniel had changed. He used to kiss her cheek when he came home. Now he barely spoke. He texted instead of calling. He stayed late at work. He avoided her touch. When she asked what was wrong, he said, "You're imagining things, Rebecca," with a coldness that made her wonder if she truly was. But she wasn't. One night, she overheard Susan whispering to Daniel in the kitchen. "That girl is going to drag you down. You need to be smart." "Mum, please. I'm serious. Watch her closely. People like her love money too much." Rebecca stood in the dark hallway, one hand on the wall, feeling the sentence wrap around her like a noose. "People like me?" She didn't sleep that night. Things got worse when Leon, her ex, returned. He showed up at her design workspace, leaning on the doorframe like he'd never broken her heart. "Becca," he said, smiling slowly. "Long time." Her stomach dropped. "What are you doing here?" "Checking on you," he said, "and warning you." "Warning me?" "Daniel's hiding something big." She shook her head. "Please leave." He leaned closer. "When it explodes, don't say I didn't try to help you." Rebecca slammed the door in his face, but her hands were shaking long after he left. Everything collided the night Daniel's $28,000 watch disappeared. He stormed through the house, fury burning through every word. "Who touched my drawer?" Rebecca flinched. "What's wrong?" "My watch. It's gone." Susan stepped inside the room like she'd been waiting. Rebecca was cleaning near the study earlier. Rebecca spun toward her. "I wasn't anywhere near." Susan raised a brow. "Are you calling me a liar?" Daniel's eyes hardened. "Becca, did you move anything?" She stared at him, heart in her throat. "Are you serious? You think I'm asking a question. You're accusing me." "I didn't say that." "You didn't have to." Her world began collapsing right there. Before the police arrived, before the cuffs, before the neighbours' whispers. That was the first betrayal. The arrest was just confirmation. The cold metal cuffs clamped around Rebecca's wrists felt like a verdict before the trial ever began. As the officers marched her through the front door, her eyes locked with Daniel's one last time. His face was pale, rigid, unreadable. "Daniel," she whispered, voice trembling. "Please, tell them you know me." His chest rose and fell once. Then he turned away. That moment hurt more than the arrest itself. Neighbours gathered like vultures to a carcass, pretending they were simply curious. But their eyes were greedy. Behind Rebecca, Susan placed a hand dramatically over her heart. "Lord have mercy. My son married a criminal." The words stabbed through Rebecca so hard she gasped. Even the officers glanced back. Susan broke into soft, pitiful sobs. The performance was flawless. Rebecca was shoved into the police car as the night swirled around her. For a split second, she caught her reflection in the window, eyes swollen, mouth trembling, hope dying. The ride to the station felt longer than her whole marriage. Inside the interrogation room, the officers dropped a file on the table like a hammer. "You pawned the watch at 3:42 p.m., one said. "Here's the CCTV. They slid the grainy photo toward her. A woman appeared in her coat, her unique, one-of-a-kind design, the one she made by hand, the one she lent to Amelia. Rebecca blinked rapidly, panic burning her throat. "That's not me," she whispered. I didn't go anywhere near a pawn shop." "But the coat is yours," the officer pressed. "Yes, but—" "Your fingerprints were found inside the watch box." Rebecca felt her blood run cold. "Someone put it in my desk." The officer stared. "Are you saying someone framed you?" "Yes." She leaned forward desperately. "Please, I swear on my life. Amelia borrowed my coat. It has to be her in the photo. She had it that day. And why would your friend steal your husband's watch?" Rebecca froze. She didn't have an answer, not even have a theory. She only has terror gripping on her throat. The officer closed the folder. "We'll verify your claims," his tone clearly saying, "We don't believe you." Hours passed. Her pleas softened to sobs, her sobs to silence. Then she was released on bail, but freedom tasted like poison. Outside the station, a dark figure leaned against a street lamp. Her heart plummeted. "Leon?" He pushed off the pole slowly, as if he had been waiting all night. "You look like hell," he said. Rebecca backed away. "Why are you here?" "To help." She shook her head sharply. "I don't want your help." "You will," he said, eyes narrowing. "Because Daniel won't lift a finger. His hands are dirty." She flinched. "Stop trying to ruin my marriage." Leon laughed, low, dangerous. "Rebecca, your marriage is already burning. I'm just offering water." He tried to step closer. She stumbled back. "Stay. Away from me." She snapped. He smirked and stepped aside, mocking her with a half bow. "Don't worry. I'm not your enemy. But the people in that house, they're wolves, and you're walking back into their den." Rebecca didn't look back, but his warning curled around her spine like cold smoke. She arrived at Daniel's home just before 2 a.m. The house was dark, except for a single faint light in the living room. She hesitated at the door, knocked softly. Footsteps approached. The door opened just a crack, enough for Daniel's face to appear. She exhaled shakily. "Daniel, I'm home." He didn't move. Rebecca's heart dropped. "Please, let me in." His voice was low. "You can't stay here." "What?" She blinked rapidly. "Daniel, I was arrested. I need you. I need my husband." He closed his eyes, pained. "I need space." Her breath broke. "From me?" "From everything." She grabbed his shirt urgently. "Daniel, look at me. You know I didn't do this. You know I'm not a thief." He pried her fingers off one by one. It felt like he was peeling away pieces of her soul. "I don't know anything right now," he whispered. Behind him, Susan appeared like a shadow. "Daniel," she said firmly, "don't let her manipulate you. This girl is panicking because she's guilty." Rebecca's head snapped toward her. "Susan, stop it, please." Susan held up a hand. "Enough. You embarrassed this family tonight. You embarrassed my son. Go. Cool your head somewhere else." "I have nowhere else to go," Rebecca cried. "Not my problem," Susan said coldly. "Actions have consequences." The door began to close. Rebecca pushed her hand into the gap, desperate. "Daniel, please don't do this." He stared at her hand, then gently pushed it out of the way. Then he slammed the door shut. Rebecca collapsed to her knees as the door slammed shut, her hands clutching the doorstep like she could hold onto life slipping through her fingers. She stayed there until her body went numb. Then she stood and walked away. She wandered aimlessly through London, no jacket, no wallet, no strength. Each step felt like she was dragging her heart across concrete. By the time she reached her workspace in Hackney, dawn was smearing across the sky. She unlocked the door with shaking hands, walked inside, and fell to the floor. Her phone buzzed and buzzed and buzzed. She forced herself to pick it up, only to find a video of her mugshot trending with her name on it. Comments flooded the screen. She looks guilty. Kai, designer thief. Her poor husband. Lock her up. Rebecca curled into herself, sobbing so violently she thought her ribs might break. Why? The word escaped her in a raw, cracked whisper. Why me? What did I do to deserve this? Her tears soaked into the wooden floor. She didn't hear the door open. Rebecca? She lifted her head slowly. Auntie Bissy rushed toward her with a gasp, dropping her handbag on the floor. Jesus, what did they do to you? Rebecca threw herself into her arms like a drowning woman clinging to the last floating plank. Auntie, she choked, my life is finished. Stand up, Auntie Bissy commanded. Rebecca shook her head in her chest. I can't. Stand up, she repeated, voice like thunder this time. Rebecca forced herself upright, shaking. Auntie Bissy held her face in both hands. Look at me. Rebecca hesitated, then met her eyes. There you are, Auntie Bissy whispered. My strong girl, my lioness. Rebecca collapsed into tears again. Everyone hates me. Daniel kicked me out. They're calling me a thief. Me. Auntie Bissy hugged her tight. Let them talk. Let them gossip. Let them laugh. Because when God finishes with you, those same mouths will tremble. Rebecca sobbed harder. Auntie Bissy lowered her voice, fierce and trembling with conviction. They tried to bury you, but they didn't know you were a seed. Rebecca closed her eyes, feeling something small and burning begin to rise inside her chest. Not hope, not strength, not yet, but the beginning of a heartbeat, the beginning of a fight, the beginning of the woman they would regret making an enemy. Rebecca sat on a small wooden stool in her workspace, clutching a cup of tea Auntie Bissy had forced into her hands. Her fingers still trembled. Her mind still spun. Every time she blinked, she saw the police lights, the cuffs, Daniel's silence, Susan's fake tears, Amelia's smile in her memory. Auntie Bissy paced the room like a lioness smelling danger. Something is wrong, very wrong, and I'm not talking about just the arrest. Rebecca stared at the floor. Auntie, I don't know where to start. You start from the truth, Auntie Bissy replied, and you tell me everything. So she did. She told her about the missing watch, the interrogation, the CCTV image, Amelia borrowing her coat, Daniel's coldness, Susan's whispers, Leon's warning. By the time she finished, Auntie Bissy's face was stone. That woman, she said, voice sharp, that Amelia, trouble follows her like shadow, and Susan, that one is a serpent. A knock sounded at the door. Rebecca froze. Auntie Bissy stepped protectively in front of her and opened it a crack. Tasha stood outside, breathless, holding her phone like it was burning her hand. Becca, oh my God, you need to see this. Rebecca's stomach flipped. What is it? Tasha shakily handed over her phone. A post, Amelia's profile, a caption dripping with fake innocence. You can't help people who don't want to help themselves. God sees all. Underneath, comments were exploding. Are you talking about Rebecca? I knew that girl was trouble. OMG, spill. Tell us what she did. Daniel deserves better. Amelia wasn't defending her. Amelia was feeding the wolves. Rebecca felt heat rush through her chest. She's lying. She knows I didn't. Tasha shook her head. Her comments are making everyone assume you stole the watch. She hasn't denied anything. She's enjoying the attention. A tear dropped down Rebecca's cheek. She didn't even wipe it. Auntie Bissy took the phone and hissed through her teeth. Look at her. Borrow coat today, sell you tomorrow, God will punish this one. Rebecca swayed. She gripped the table. Why would she do this to me? Auntie Bissy placed a hand on her shoulder. Because wicked people don't need a reason. Sometimes jealousy is enough. But it didn't feel like just jealousy. It felt planned, precise, personal. Another hard knock makes Rebecca's heart jumped. Auntie Bissy opened it bold and wide. Leon stood there. Rebecca's heart dropped to her knees. You again? Leon looked at her, really looked, taking in her swollen eyes, shaky hands, and broken posture. "Becca," he said softly, "let me inside." "No?" "Please." "No." Leon stepped forward, ignoring the hostility. "Fine. Then talk to me here, because what's happening to you isn't random." Rebecca swallowed hard. "What do you know, Leon?" He hesitated. "Daniel, he's in trouble. Serious trouble." "Trouble?" Rebecca whispered. "What kind?" "The kind that puts people in jail," Tasha gasped. Auntie Bessie narrowed her eyes. Leon continued. "Daniel has been dealing with a man, someone dangerous. There's property fraud involved, money laundering, false signatures, illegal transfers. The man has evidence. If Daniel doesn't come up with a huge amount soon, everything blows up." Rebecca felt her throat closing. "Stop. Daniel wouldn't—" Leon sighed heavily. "Rebecca, you really don't know your husband," she snapped. "Don't call him that. Not with your mouth." Leon flinched but stepped closer. "You think your arrest was a coincidence? No. Someone is trying to shield themselves, and someone is trying to push you out of the picture entirely." It hit her like cold water. The watch, the coat, the planted evidence, the silence, the timing. Pieces began trembling into place. But her heart didn't want to believe it. "My husband isn't a criminal," she whisper-yelled. "He wouldn't frame me. He wouldn't let someone frame me." Leon's eyes softened in the way that always felt like pity. "He didn't stop them, Rebecca. That's almost the same thing." Rebecca stepped backward until her back hit the wall. She felt like she might faint. "No," she breathed. "Daniel loves me. He loved me." Leon lowered his voice. "Did he love you enough to defend you when they put handcuffs on you?" Rebecca's face crumpled. Auntie Bessie stepped forward. "Oya, young man, talk straight. Who is behind this?" Leon looked at Rebecca, guilt flickering through his expression. "You won't want to hear it." "Say it," she whispered. He exhaled. "Susan paid Amelia." The room froze. "Paid?" Rebecca repeated, her voice cracking. "I saw the transfer," Leon said. £5,000 2 weeks ago, a day before Amelia borrowed your coat." Auntie Bissie's hand flew to her mouth. "Blood of Jesus!" Rebecca's legs failed her, but Tasha caught her before she fell. Leon continued quietly. "Susan hates you. She wants you gone. And she doesn't care how." Rebecca's heart skipped as the realization hit her. Her mother-in-law paid her friend. Her friend wore her coat. Someone planted the watch. The police got a tip. Daniel stayed silent. Her life collapsed. All planned. All deliberate. All intentional. A strangled sob escaped her throat. Why would she hate me so much?" "Because," Leon said, "you got in the way of her controlling Daniel, and because she never thought you were good enough for them." Something shifted inside Rebecca. Something sharp. Something rising. The pain didn't fade, but it transformed. Auntie Bissie knelt beside her and lifted her chin again. "My child, now you see the truth." Rebecca's tears fell silently, but her eyes hardened. Just a little. Leon hesitated. "There's more." Rebecca shook her head weakly. I can't take more." "You need to hear it," he insisted. "Daniel. He knew about the fraud long before the watch went missing." Her breath caught. "Daniel? He took money. He's scared. He's doing anything to protect himself, even if it means letting you burn." Rebecca's heart cracked deeper than before. "Leon, please stop." "No," Leon said softly. "You deserve the truth. They are using you as a shield, a distraction." Auntie Bissie stood tall. "So what do we do?" Leon looked Rebecca dead in the eyes. "You fight back. You get proof. You expose them. Every single one of them." Rebecca closed her eyes, tears slipping down her cheeks. But there was a new tension in her jaw, a new tremor in her breath. "I don't even know where to start," she whispered. Auntie Bissie placed both hands on her shoulders. "You start by standing up." Rebecca slowly rose to her feet, her legs wobbled. Her heart pounded. Her world shook, but she stood. For the first time since the arrest, She stood. Auntie Bessie nodded proudly. Good girl. Leon stepped closer. Rebecca, once we start digging, we can't stop. It will get messy. Rebecca wiped her tears with the back of her hand. They caused me so much pain and agony, she said softly. How much messier can it get? No one answered, but everyone knew the truth. It was about to get much, much messier. Rebecca sat in the dim light of her workspace, staring at the mountain of Everest, an artwork she inherited from her late mom. All the evidence they gathered, stacked in front of her, felt unreal. The papers, the recordings, the files. They were her life being torn apart and stitched back together at the same time. The truth was ugly, sharp, soaked in betrayal, but it was hers, and she would carry it to the end. Auntie Bessie stood beside her like a warrior general, hands on her hips, eyes blazing. My daughter, are you ready to finish this? Rebecca inhaled deeply. I'm ready, Leon nodded grimly. Then let's burn their world down. Rebecca didn't smile, she didn't blink, she simply whispered, not burn, expose. Because burning meant revenge. Exposing meant justice. And justice had waited long enough. They reached the police station just as the morning sun broke through the clouds. Rebecca walked in carrying the thick file against her chest like armor. The officers looked up in surprise. The girl who had walked in here days ago trembling and broken was not the woman walking in now. Miss Adams? Yes. You're here to clear my name. She placed the evidence on the counter. Then another. Then another. The silence in the station thickened as detectives opened the files and their expressions changed from confusion to shock to pure anger. An officer looked up. Where did you get all of this? Rebecca met his eyes steadily. From the people who tried to destroy me. The lead detective stood over the counter and ordered the sergeants. Get a warrant and prepare a unit immediately. By 10:00 a.m., police cars sped through Daniel's neighborhood like a storm. Residents peeked out from behind curtains as officers swarmed the Harper residence. Susan burst onto the porch in her silk robe, hair a mess, heart racing. What is this? What is happening? The officer flashed the warrant. Ma'am, step aside. She didn't. She screamed. No one is entering my home. I am Susan Harper. Do you hear me? Don't you dare. Rebecca stood across the street, hands in her pockets, face calm, but eyes simmering with years of molestation and mockery. Susan spotted her and shrieked, You did this, you evil woman. After everything we gave you. Rebecca didn't flinch. She let Susan's words shatter on the pavement like glass. The officers pushed inside. Daniel stumbled out of the study moments later, face pale. What's going on? You know exactly what this is, the detective snapped. They cuffed him. Daniel looked across the street. His eyes found Rebecca's. His voice cracked. Rebecca, please, it's me. You can't let them do this. You know I love you. She blinked slowly. Love? The man who watched her get arrested? The man who let them plant evidence? The man who snapped at her in times of trouble? Rebecca stepped forward until they were close enough to breathe the same air. Daniel, she whispered, if this is love, then may I never feel it again. He swallowed hard. Becca, I didn't mean to take it this far. She searched his face one last time, looking for the man she fell in love with. He wasn't there. She stepped back. Take him, she said quietly. Daniel's face crumbled as they pushed him into the car. Susan's turn came next. She clawed at the officers, screaming, You think you won, Rebecca? You think you can ruin me? I'll rebuild, The officer cut her off. Ma'am, you're under arrest for conspiracy to falsify evidence, bribery and obstruction. The camera flashes from journalists lit up the entire street. Susan collapsed. Not gracefully, not quietly, but like a queen whose crown had been pulled off in public. Her humiliation tasted sweeter than revenge. And Amelia, by noon, her name was everywhere. Brands dropped her. Her clients turned on her. The influence of friends she bragged about vanished, By evening, she was trending #1 with hashtags like "Au quartz and go expose Amelia" in "No False Friend." Nope, Rebecca deserved better, and she hadn't even been arrested yet. 3 weeks later, Rebecca's name was cleared. Publicly, legally, unanimously. The police released a statement. News channels apologized. Design blogs celebrated her comeback before it even began. But Rebecca wasn't seeking validation. She wanted her life back, and fate was ready to give her more. The moment everything changed was unexpected, ordinary, quiet. A Dubai-based fashion influencer posted a throwback picture of one of Rebecca's old designs. The caption read, "Whoever created this is a genius. Where is she now?" Then the internet picked on it, and it became a trend. Within hours, her email exploded. Her website crashed, hundreds of orders, then thousands, celebrities wearing her designs, fashion houses begging to collaborate, her story circulating globally, like modern folklore. But the true turning point came when one of the world's top designers reposted her work with the words, "This is brilliance. This is rebirth." That single repost transformed everything. Brands fought to sign her. Investors began to offer her millions of dollars. Her name became synonymous with glory. And amidst the whirlwind of opportunity, one message stood out. A billionaire investor, soft-spoken, respectful, elegant, sent a simple text, "Your work is magic. If you're open to it, I'd like to help you build something extraordinary." Unlike Daniel, he didn't ask to own her. Unlike Leon, he didn't ask to use her. He simply believed in her. And belief, after everything she'd endured, was the rarest gift. Rebecca replied, "Let's talk." The peak of her rebirth came on the night of London Fashion Week. Backstage buzzed with chaos, models rushing, makeup artists shouting, assistants adjusting outfits. Cameramen whispered excitedly, "That's her. That's Rebecca Adams, the one who survived the scandal, the one who's dominating the runway tonight." The lights went down. The music began. Her designs came to life one by one, elegant, fierce, breathtaking. The audience gasped, whispered, cried. And then, the final reveal. Her signature coat, the same design Amelia had worn to betray her, reimagined, reborn, a piece of pain turned into art. The crowd erupted in applause so loud the walls vibrated. Rebecca stepped out. The spotlight hit her. She didn't smile, she didn't wave. She simply stood, tall and glowing, with tears in her eyes and strength in her spine. Auntie Bissy cried openly in the front row, whispering prayers of gratitude. Reporters shouted her name. Flashbulbs sparked like fireworks. Somewhere, in a prison cell, Daniel watched her on a small TV and broke down. The woman he abandoned had become a global sensation. Susan sat alone on a hard mattress, head bowed, the world mocking her name. Her pride eaten by the same world she tried to impress. Amelia scrolled endlessly through Rebecca's success posts, her face hollow, watching the woman she betrayed become everything she wished she could be. And Rebecca? She stood on that runway, breathing in the moment that almost never happened. A phoenix, a revolution, a warning, a promise. She whispered into the roaring crowd. The woman they buried became a garden. The world went silent for a full second, then erupted like thunder. When the show ended, Rebecca looked straight into the main camera broadcasting the event live and said, "If you're still here, kindly hit the like so it reaches the next woman who needs strength. Comment 'I rise' if you refuse to stay buried. And subscribe because I'm telling more stories of survival, faith and fire. Stories for people like you. People who knows it's okay to bend when the storms arise and will always stay ready to rise back because no storm lasts forever."